Hello friends, welcome back to Paula's Kitchen and More, or affectionately called Studio K for Kitchen. I'm so glad to have you with me today because I am making something never done before, and I'm so excited to have you along on this little exploratory journey. It's a French classic dish called Ratatouille. Oh my gosh, never done this before, but it's kind of an interesting modern twist. It comes from a website called cookieandkate.com, and what we're going to do is roast the vegetables before we put them in the simmering tomato sauce, and I'm really excited to see how this is going to turn out. But first, check out this apron. I got this early this year from Simone and Mark. They hand delivered it from Australia. I got some koala bears on here. They brought us a whole bunch of other stuff from Australia, including chocolates and even Vegemite, believe it or not. They are just adorable and we're so grateful. So let's talk ingredients for our ratatouille, okay? Over here we have, of course, our base for our sauce is going to be tomatoes, but not only tomatoes. We're using eggplant, we're using yellow squash, we're using zucchini. We've got two kinds of colored sweet peppers. We've got onion, garlic, basil. Oh my gosh, talk about layering flavors. We're using extra virgin olive oil, salt and pepper, of course, red pepper, and oregano. And I even got a nice loaf of crusty French bread to serve it with, although we could also use pasta, noodles, rice, whatever. But we're just going to have it straight up today with a little piece of bread. I'm so excited to get going. Come on, let's cook. All right, folks, before we go off to France, let's stay in Australia for a second. Check out these amazing coasters that we got from Simone and Mark. It's all about being on the road in Australia, and we're so fond of road trips that they couldn't have picked anything more appropriate for Dale and me. All right, let's get busy. We have a bunch of prep to do for our ratatouille, and the very first thing we need to do is grab 2 pounds of ripe red fresh tomatoes, and we need to, believe it or not, grate them. So this is 2 pounds, and I love tomatoes on the vine because they're just so intensely flavored. So let me pull over my bowl. I have never grated a tomato in my life, so let's see how we do, huh? Old Kate, our instructor, tells us to kind of do it on the diagonal, on the biggest holes of your grater, and then you're going to end up with a bunch of leftover skin, which I guess you just kind of chop up with a knife. And she put a little video on her website of how this works, and it makes a big frothy mess, and that's exactly what I am doing. I'm making a big frothy mess, so I guess I'm doing it right. Let me get my 5 tomatoes, my 2 pounds of tomatoes, all in the bowl, and we will move on with the next piece of our prep. Well, that was fun. A little bit messy, but a lot of fun, and it's very frothy, just like I expected it to be. I did have to chop up the skin a little bit with my paring knife, but this is a stew, so things don't have to be real small. All right, through the magic of video, I've done a whole lot of prep while you were gone. Let's go through everything that's going to be going into the oven to do some roasting. By the way, my oven is preheating at 425 degrees, and since I'm going to be putting 2 cookie sheets in at the same time, one rack is in the center and one rack is in the upper third of the oven. So first of all, we have a whole eggplant, about a pound, cut into 1/2-inch cubes. Then we have a yellow squash and a zucchini, about 8 ounces or 1/2 pound each, and those are also cut into 1/2-inch cubes. That was fun. Now, my peppers, it calls for a red, orange, or yellow pepper, a whole one, so I used a 1/2 a red and a 1/2 a yellow because I'm all about color. So that is ready. Then I also have 1 onion that I've chopped up, and I have 4 aromatic cloves of garlic. So this is going to be layered all kinds of wonderful vegetable flavors. Who needs meat when you're having all this cool stuff? All right, we are ready to start throwing our veggies in the oven. Let me get ready for that. Okay folks, I have pulled out 2 cookie sheets with sides, which we're going to need. We don't want any of these veggies rolling off into the oven. So first of all, I have my diced eggplant. I put it in a bigger bowl, and I have some extra virgin olive oil that we're going to toss it with in order to roast it. So I've got 2 tablespoons of the EVOO, as Rachel Ray used to say. And I'm just going to toss them around a little bit. You can do this on the cookie sheet, but me personally, I find it easier to do in a bowl, and I think it works a little bit more efficiently. Then the second thing we want to do is sprinkle it with 1/4 teaspoon of freshly ground sea salt. And then it goes on the cookie sheet in a single layer. Now we're going to try to put this in a single layer so it roasts nice and evenly. So let me do my best here on that. That's almost a single layer, not bad. Okay, we're going to repeat this process with the rest of our veggies. Stand by. All right, we're going to repeat the same treatment. I've got my yellow squash and my zucchini, and I've got my half a red, half a yellow pepper. By the way, I don't know if I mentioned the peppers you actually cut in 3/4 inch size. I'm not sure why the difference, but whatever. It's very pretty. This one only needs 1 tablespoon of the olive oil, not 2. I'm guessing the eggplant maybe absorbs more. The eggplant was definitely bigger. Wow, this looks like a salad. Look how pretty that is. And another 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and give that a toss. All right, friends, that is going on the other cookie sheet. Now, the eggplant is going in the middle rack. These veggies are going on the upper rack, and I'm going to set a timer for 15 minutes on the roasted veggies. Veggies are roasting. I've got out my big soup pot, and I've put 2 tablespoons of the olive oil in it. I've now got my diced onion, and I'm going to drop that in. And this is going to simmer in over medium heat or so for about 10 minutes until these onions get tender, and then we're going to drop in the garlic. So while the vegetables are roasting, we're getting started on our tomato sauce paste. Now we're cooking. This looks beautiful. I did forget to say it required 1 more 1/4 teaspoon of salt when we were sauteing these onions. So they're starting to curl and turn brown. Now my 4 cloves of minced garlic go in, and it's just a really quick one on this, like 30 seconds or so. Get these just covered up with the oil, and then my tomato froth goes in this pot. Oh, you would not believe the smell in this kitchen. All right, so this becomes the base for our ratatouille, and all I have to do is bring this to a boil and then put it on a nice simmer for a while. As the vegetables get done, we're gonna drop them in. Speaking of vegetables, let's go see what happens with those. All right, hey, I've got my eggplant out of the oven, and all I'm gonna do is just take a spatula and toss them around. Oh, look how brown they're getting. Oh my gosh, such a success. When we put them back in the oven, we're flipping them around. The eggplant is going on the upper rack, and the other vegetables are going to go on the other rack. So let me swap these out here. All right, look how beautiful these are. And again, let's just toss these around as well. In the oven, everything goes. And meanwhile, you can see that my sauce is also bubbling away over here and making a fragrant steam. Woo, good stuff. All right, folks, we are ready to start layering the vegetables. My eggplant is done, and check that out. How gorgeous is that? So yeah, my tomato sauce has been gently simmering with the flavoring of the onion and garlic, and now we're gonna start layering in the veggies. So first of all, I've got the eggplant going in, and then I'm going to let the other vegetables run another 5 or 10 minutes until they start to get brown around the edges as well. But meanwhile, we're gonna let the eggplant lend its flavor to the tomato base. Well, heidi ho, we are done in the oven, and my veggies are, I'd say, caramelized. So let's drop these in the ratatouille pot, huh? We've got caramelized peppers, yellow squash, and zucchini, and they sure look and smell great. Now, can I get them in this pot without spilling? We shall see. The proof is in the pudding. You're watching. Well, I dropped a couple. All right, beautiful. Now, this just needs to simmer to blend these new flavors for another 5 minutes or so, and then we are going to finish off the ratatouille and serve. Hang on, be right back. Well, check this out. I don't think I needed quite as big a stock pot as I used because the veggies, once they roast, they do roast up smaller, but oh my gosh, is this a thing of beauty or what? So, off goes the fire. We are done, and we're just gonna top it off with 1 more teaspoon of the extra virgin olive oil. And Kate tells you don't skip this step. So she's the chef. We'll do as she says. 1 more teaspoon. Next, we would add 1/4 cup of fresh basil. But my grocery store did not have fresh basil, so I purchased this. I think I've used it elsewhere in Paula's kitchen. It's kind of a semi-dry, sort of fresh version of basil, and you use about half. So rather than 1/4 cup, I'm going to use 1/8 of a cup or 2 tablespoons of this semi-fresh basil. That goes in, and then I need 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flakes. So I've got some red pepper flakes here, 1/4 teaspoon to give it a little bit of heat. And then last but not least, 1/4 teaspoon of, what is this, oregano. This goes in my hand and I mush it like that between my palms as I pour it in. So that is the final touch on the ratatouille, and oh my gosh, when you put that basil in, it turns into something completely different. Look at this in the overhead camera. All right, so at this point, this is done and ready to serve. Kate recommends that you take a bite in case it needs a little bit more salt or maybe a touch of black pepper. So let me just take a little teaspoon. Wow, is that good? A tad more salt. I'll do another 1/4 of a teaspoon. Just kind of top this off. And we're gonna call this good. Where's Dale? Let's eat. And here we are, finally at the table. It's ratatouille time.
I tell you what, this has smelled great all day. I can't wait to eat it. It's like, it's not, I thought it was supposed to be a soup, but it's more like a stew.
It is. It's a French vegetable stew. I'm a French cook now.
And not only that, we have official French bread that was baked just today.
Yeah, picked it up this morning at the bakery. We're official.
All right, I gotta give it a shot. Wow, that is full of flavor.
That's exactly what I would say.
Oh,
wow, is it flavorful?
Just full of flavor, unbelievable. And can you put mushrooms in this, or?
It doesn't call for them,
Okay.
no.
Yeah, because I'm allergic to mushrooms, so.
But honestly, this is a meatless meal, really hearty, super healthy, I would think, because it's all just fresh garden vegetables.
And we got our French bread here, and what are you supposed to do with this?
I think you can actually put the piece of the stew right on top of it and take a bite, or dip it in the juice, either one. I mean, there's that fantastic tomato base in here. Super fresh tomatoes. I'm gonna make a mess on my face.
Oh, that takes it over the top. Oh, that really takes it over the top. That is good stuff.
It is. You can top this with some more fresh basil, a little bit more olive oil, a little bit of Parmesan cheese, or just eat it as we are. And you know what's really cool? We were reading about the accompaniments or the ways you can serve this. We already mentioned you can do pasta or other starches. Put it over eggs or serve it with eggs, which I thought was an amazing suggestion.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, it sounds like it would really accompany like an omelet or scrambled eggs beautifully.
I give this 2 big thumbs up. I really like it. And as far as cooking, it really didn't take that long, right?
And it's not hard, as you can tell. It's not like there was a lot of skill involved.
It's just a lot of cutting up of stuff.
A lot of cutting up.
Yeah.
Well said. Anyway, thank you, Mr. Dale, for capturing it all on film. And how many cameras did you use?
5 cameras today.
5 cameras
5
today.
cameras today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights.
It's been a busy day in Paula's kitchen and more today.
You'd think I'd lose some weight by just trying to make all these things work.
Well, we get to eat the meals after, that's the thing.
Anyway, it was terrific.
Thank you all so much for being with us in Paula's Kitchen and more, and exploring new recipes never before done like we just did today. We appreciate you. See you soon.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.